Hello students, welcome to CBSE Class 10 Science 2024 Solved Paper with me, Kunal Kohli. Let's start with question 1. When 2 ml of sodium hydroxide solution is added to few pieces of granulated zinc in a test tube and then warmed, the reaction that occurs can be written in the form of a balanced chemical equation as A. NaOH plus Zn, which gives us NaZnO2 plus H2O, or B. 2NaOH plus Zn, which gives us Na2ZnO2 plus H2, or C. 2NaOH plus Zn, which gives us NaZnO2 plus H2, or D. 2NaOH plus Zn, which gives us Na2ZnO2 plus H2O. Concept: reaction of metals with bases. Explanation: zinc reacts with strong bases like sodium hydroxide to form a complex salt called sodium zincate and liberates hydrogen gas. The balanced chemical equation requires 2 moles of sodium hydroxide for every mole of zinc. So the answer is B, 2NaOH plus Zn, which gives us Na2ZnO2 plus H2. Question 2. Select from the following a decomposition reaction in which source of energy for decomposition is light. A. 2FeSO2 gives Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. B. 2H2O gives 2H2. B. 2H2O gives 2H2 plus O2. C. 2AgBr gives 2Ag plus Br2. D. CaCO3 gives CaO plus CO2. Concept: photolytic decomposition. Explanation: silver bromide is sensitive to light and decomposes into silver metal and bromine gas when exposed to a light source. This reaction is a classic example of photolysis used in black and white photography. Answer C. 2AgBr gives 2Ag plus Br2. Question 3. A metal and a non-metal that exists in liquid state at the room temperature are respectively A. bromine and mercury, B. mercury and iodine, C. mercury and bromine, D. iodine and mercury. Concept: physical states of elements. Explanation: mercury is the only metallic element that remains liquid at standard room temperature. Bromine is the corresponding non-metallic element that exists in a liquid state under the same conditions. Answer C. mercury and bromine. Question 4. Carbon compounds 1. are good conductors of electricity. 2. are bad conductors of electricity. 3. have strong forces of attraction between their molecules. B. have weak forces of attraction between their molecules. The correct statements are A. 1 and 2, B. 2 and 3, C. 2 and 4, or D. 1 and 3. Concept: properties of covalent carbon compounds. Explanation: most carbon compounds are covalent in nature, meaning they do not form ions and are therefore poor conductors of electricity. Because the intermolecular forces between these molecules are weak, they often have lower melting and boiling points compared to ionic compounds. Answer C. 2 and 4. Question 5. Consider the following compounds: FeSO4, CuSO4, CaSO4, Na2CO3. The compound having maximum number of water crystallization in its crystalline form in one molecule is A. FeSO4, B. CuSO4, C. CaSO4, or D. Na2CO3. Concept: water of crystallization. Explanation: crystalline sodium carbonate, known as washing soda, contains 10 molecules of water of crystallization, Na2CO3 0.10H2O4 per formula. This is higher than the 5 molecules found in copper sulfate or the 7 molecules in ferrous sulfate. Answer D. Na2CO3. Question 6. Oxides of aluminium and zinc are A. acidic, B. basic, C. amphoteric, D. neutral. Concept: amphoteric nature of metal oxides. Explanation: while most metal oxides are basic, aluminum oxide and zinc oxide exhibit both acidic and basic characteristics. They are classified as amphoteric because they can react with both acids and bases to produce salt and water. Answer C. amphoteric. Question 7. MnO2 plus 4HCl gives us MnCl2 plus 2H2O plus Cl2. The reaction given above is a redox reaction because in this case, A. MnO2 is oxidized and HCl is reduced. B. HCl is oxidized. Or C. MnO2 is reduced. Or D. MnO2 is reduced and HCl is oxidized. Concept: oxidation and reduction, redox. Explanation: in this specific reaction, manganese dioxide MnO2 loses oxygen and is therefore reduced to manganese chloride MnCl2. Simultaneously, hydrochloric acid HCl loses hydrogen and is oxidized to chlorine gas Cl2. Answer D. MnO2 is reduced and HCl is oxidized. Question 8. Consider the following statements. 1. The sex of a child is determined by what it inherits from the mother. 2. The sex of a child is determined by what it inherits from the father. 3. The probability of having a male child is more than that of a female child. 4. The sex of a child is determined at the time of fertilization when male and female gametes fuse to form a zygote. The correct statements are A. 1 and 3, B. 2 and 4, C. 3 and 4, D. 1, 3 and 4. Concept: human sex determination. Explanation: human females possess 2 X chromosomes while male have 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosome. Therefore, the sex of the child depends entirely on whether the father's sperm contributes an X or a Y chromosome. This determination occurs the moment the gametes fuse to form the zygote during fertilization. Answer B. 2 and 4. Question 9. Chromosomes 1. Carry hereditary information from parents to the next generation. 2. Are thread-like structures located inside the nucleus of an animal cell. 3. Always exist in pairs in human reproductive cells. 4. Are involved in the process of cell division. The correct statements are A. 1 and 2, B. 3 and 4, C. 1, 2 and 4, D. 1 and 4. Concept: genetics and cell biology. Explanation: chromosomes are nuclear structures that serve as the primary vehicle for transferring hereditary information in the form of DNA from parents to offspring. They play a critical role in managing and distributing genetic material during cell division. Answer D. 1 and 4. Question 10. In a nerve cell, the site where the electrical impulse is converted into a chemical signal is known as A. axon, B. dendrites, C. neuromuscular junction, D. cell body. Concept: nervous system communication. Explanation: when an electrical impulse reaches the end of a neuron, it must cross a gap to reach the next cell. At specialized sites like the neuromuscular junction, the electrical signal triggers the release of chemicals to transmit the message. Answer is C. neuromuscular junction. Question 11. A stomata closes when 1. It needs carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. 2. It does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. 3. Water flows out of the guard cells. 4. Water flows into the guard cells. The correct reasons in this process are A. 1 only, B. 1 and 3, C. 2 and 3, D. 2 and 4. Concept: plant physiology and transpiration. Explanation: the opening and closing of stomatal pores are controlled by the turgidity of guard cells. When a plant no longer requires carbon dioxide or wishes to conserve water, water flows out of the guard cells, causing them to shrink and close the pore. Answer C, 2 and 3. Question 12. At what distance from a convex lens should an object be placed to get an image of the same size as that of the object on a screen? A. Beyond twice the focal length of the lens. B. At the principal focus of the lens. C. At twice the focal length of the lens. D. Between the optical center of the lens and its principal focus. Concept: optics and lens image formation. Explanation: for a convex lens, placing an object exactly at twice the focal length, 2fi, results in a real inverted image of the exact same size as the object. This image is formed on the opposite side of the lens at a distance of 2f2. Answer C, at twice the focal length of the lens. Question 13. The light system of human eye forms an image on a light-sensitive screen which is called as A. cornea, B. ciliary muscles, C. optic nerves, D. retina. Concept: anatomy of the human eye. Explanation: the eye focuses light through its lens system onto the back surface of the eyeball. This sensitive layer, known as the retina, contains photoreceptors that convert the image into electrical signals for the brain. So the answer is D, retina. 14. The pattern of the magnetic field produced inside a current carrying solenoid is A. parallel straight lines along its axis, B. circular concentric lines, C. irregular curves, D. randomly spread loops. Concept: electromagnetism and solenoids. Explanation: inside a long solenoid, the magnetic field is uniform and strong. This uniformity is represented by field lines that are straight, parallel to each other, and run along the axis of the solenoid. Answer A. parallel straight lines along its axis. Question 15. Identify the food chain in which the organisms of the second trophic level are missing. A. grass, goat, lion. B. zooplankton, phytoplankton, small fish, large fish. C. tiger, grass, snake, frog. D. grasshopper, grass, snake, frog, eagle. Concept: ecosystem structure and trophic levels. Explanation: in a typical food chain, the second trophic level consists of herbivores, primary consumers that eat the producer's first level. In the sequence tiger, grass, snake, frog, the expected herbivore that consumes the grass is absent. So the answer is C, tiger, grass, snake, frog. Question 16. In which of the following organisms multiple fission is a means of asexual reproduction? A. yeast, B. leishmania, C. paranotium, D. plasmodium. Concept: asexual reproduction methods. Explanation: unlike binary fission where a cell divides into two, multiple fission allows a single parent cell to divide into many daughter cells simultaneously. The malarial parasite Plasmodium utilizes this method to multiply rapidly within its host. So the answer is D, Plasmodium. Question 17. Assertion A. Hydrogen gas is not evolved when zinc reacts with nitric acid. Reason R. Nitric acid oxidizes the hydrogen gas produced to water and itself get reduced. A. Both assertion A and reason R are true, and reason R is the correct explanation of assertion A. B. Both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. D. Assertion A is false, but reason R is true. Concept: chemical properties of nitric acid. Explanation: nitric acid is a very powerful oxidizing agent. When metals react with it, any hydrogen gas that might be formed is immediately oxidized by the acid into water, while the acid itself is reduced to various nitrogen oxides. So the answer A. Both assertion A and reason R are true, and the reason R is the correct explanation of assertion A. Question 18. Assertion A. Accumulation of harmful chemicals is maximum in the organisms at the highest trophic level of a food chain. Reason R. Harmful chemicals are sprayed on the crops to protect them from diseases and pests. A. Both assertion A and reason R are true, and reason R is the correct explanation of assertion A. B. Both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. D. Assertion A is false, but reason R is true. Concept: biological magnification. Explanation: non-biodegradable chemicals like pesticides enter the food chain at the producer levels and cannot be easily excreted by organisms. Consequently, their concentration increases progressively as they move up the food chain, reaching peak levels in top predators. Answer B. Both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. Question 19. Assertion A. The rate of breathing in aquatic organisms is much faster than terrestrial organisms. Reason R. The amount of oxygen dissolved in water is very high as compared to the amount of oxygen in the air. A. Both assertion A and reason R are true, and reason R is the correct explanation of assertion A. B. Both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. D. Assertion A is false, but reason R is true. Concept: respiration in different environments. Explanation: the concentration of dissolved oxygen in water is significantly lower than the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere. To compensate for this lower availability, aquatic organisms must breathe at a much faster rate to obtain sufficient oxygen for survival. Answer C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. Question 20. Assertion A. The rainbow is a natural spectrum of sunlight in the sky. Reason R. Rainbows formed in the sky when the sun is overhead and water droplets are also present in the air. A. Both assertion A and reason R are true, and reason R is the correct explanation of assertion A. B. Both assertion A and reason R are true, but reason R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. D. Assertion A is false, but reason R is true. Concept: atmospheric optics and rainbows. Explanation: a rainbow is indeed a natural spectrum produced by the dispersion of sunlight by tiny water droplets in the atmosphere. However, a rainbow cannot form when the sun is directly overhead. It requires the sun to be at a lower angle, typically behind the observer. Answer C. Assertion A is true, but reason R is false. And now we move on to section B. This section consists of 6 very short answer VSA type questions carrying 2 marks each. Answers are expected to be in the range of 30 to 50 words. Question 21. Name the type of chemical reaction in which calcium oxide reacts with water. Justify your answer by giving balanced chemical equation for the chemical reaction. Concept: combination reactions. Explanation: a combination reaction is characterized by the formation of a single product from 2 or more reactants. In this specific reaction, quicklime reacts with water to produce slaked lime while releasing heat. Answer: this is a combination reaction because a single product is formed. The balanced chemical equation is CaOS plus H2OL, which gives us CaOH2AQ plus heat. Question 22. State one role each of the following in human digestive systems. 1. Hydrochloric acid. 2. Villi. 3. Anal sphincter. 4. Lipase. Concept: digestive physiology. Answer: 1. Hydrochloric acid. It creates an acidic medium to facilitate the action of enzyme and kills 1. Hydrochloric acid. It creates an acidic medium to facilitate the action of enzymes and kills microorganisms. 2. Villi. These structures increase the surface area available for the absorption of digested food. 3. Anal sphincter. It regulates the exit of waste material from the anus. 4. Lipase. This enzyme is responsible for the breakdown and digestion of emulsified fats or lipids. Question 23a. How is the movement of leaves of a sensitive plant different from the downward movement of the roots? Or B. There is a hormone which regulates carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism in our body. Name the hormone and the gland which secretes it. Why is it important for us to have iodized salt in our diet? Concept: plant movements and endocrine regulation. Answer A. The movement of leaves in a sensitive plant is triggered by the stimulus of touch, involves no growth, and is non-directional. In contrast, the downward movement of roots is triggered by gravity, involves growth, and is directional. B. The hormone is thyroxine, which is secreted by the thyroid gland. Iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to produce this hormone. A deficiency of iodine in the diet can lead to goitre. Question 24. An object is placed at a distance of 10 centimeters from a convex mirror of focal length 15 centimeters. Find the position of the image formed by the mirror. Concept: mirror formula and sign convention. Explanation: using the mirror formula, 1 divided by V plus 1 divided by U is equal to 1 divided by F, where U is equal to minus 10 centimeters and F is equal to plus 15 centimeters for a convex mirror, the image distance can be determined. Now, the answer. Given U is equal to minus 10 centimeters and F is equal to plus centimeters, the mirror formula yields 1 upon V is equal to 1 upon 15 minus 1 upon minus 10 is equal to 1 upon 15 plus 1 upon 10. Calculating this gives V is equal to plus 6 centimeters, meaning the image formed is behind the mirror. Question 25a. Show how you would connect 3 resistors, each of resistance 6 ohms, so that the combination has a resistance of 9 ohms. Also, justify your answer. Or B. In the given circuit, calculate the power consumed in watts in the resistor of 2 ohms. Note, circuit consists of a 1 ohm and 2 ohm resistor in series with a 6 volt battery. Concept: resistor combinations and electrical power. Answer A. To obtain 9 ohms, connect 2 6 ohm resistors in parallel and then connect the third 6 ohm resistor in series with that combination. The parallel resistance Rp is 3 ohm in brackets 1 6 plus 1 6 is equal to 2 6. And the total resistance R8 is 6 plus 3, which is equal to 9 ohms. Or B. The equivalent resistance is 1 ohm plus 2 ohms, which is equal to 3 ohms. The total current I is 6 volts upon 3 ohms, which is equal to 2 amperes. The power P consumed by the 2 ohm resistor is I square R, which is equal to 2 amperes square multiplied by 2 ohms, which is equal to 8 watts. Question 26. 2 magnetic field lines do not intersect each other. Why? 2. How is a uniform magnetic field in a given region represented? 2. How is a uniform magnetic field in a given region represented? Draw a diagram in support of your answer. Concept: properties of magnetic field lines. Answer 1. If they were to intersect, a compass needle at the point of intersection would point in 2 different directions simultaneously, which is physically impossible. 2. A uniform magnetic field is represented by equidistant parallel straight lines. Question 27. Write 1 chemical equation each for the chemical reaction in which the following have taken place. 1. Change in color. 2. Change in temperature. 3. Formation of precipitate. Mention color change, temperature change, rise, fall, compound precipitated along with equation. Concept: indicators of chemical reactions. Explanation. Chemical changes are often accompanied by observable physical changes such as the evolution of heat, exothermic, the formation of an insoluble solid, precipitate, or a shift in the wavelength of reflected light, color change. Answer. Change in color FeS plus CuSO4Aq gives us FeSO4Aq plus Cus. The blue solution turns green due to the formation of ferrous sulfate. Change in temperature NaOHAq plus HClAq gives us NaClAq plus H2OL plus heat. The temperature of the reaction mixture increases, exothermic reaction. 3. Formation of precipitate. PbNO3 2 Aq plus 2Ki Aq gives us PbI2S plus 2KNO3Aq. A yellow precipitate of lead iodide is formed. Question 28. 1. The pH. Question 28. 1. The pH of a sample of tomato juice is 4.6. How is this juice likely to taste? Give reason to justify your answer. 2. How do we differentiate between a strong acid and a weak base in terms of ion formation in aqueous solutions? 3. The acid rain can make the survival of aquatic animals difficult. How? Concept, pH scale and acid-base strength. Explanation. The pH scale measures the concentration of hydrogen ions, values below 7 to indicate acidity, which corresponds to a sour taste. Strong acids dissociate completely in water to yield a high concentration of H plus ions, whereas weak bases dissociate partially, yielding few OH minus ions. Answer. 1. The taste would be slightly sour because a pH of 4.6 indicates it is an acid and acids are characteristically sour. 2. Strong acids produce a high concentration of H plus ions, H3O+, while weak bases yield a concentration of OH negative ions in solution. 3. Aquatic animals survive in a narrow pH range, 7 to 7.8. If acid rain lowers the river pH below 5.6, the environment becomes too acidic for their survival. Question 29. Why is respiratory pigment needed in multicellular organisms with large body size? 2. Give reasons for the following. A. Rings of cartilage are present in the throat. B. Lungs always contain a residual volume of air. C. The diaphragm flattens and ribs are lifted up when we breathe. D. Walls of alveoli contain an extensive network of blood vessels. Concept. Mechanisms of respiration. Explanation. In large multicellular organisms, the distance for oxygen to travel is too great for simple diffusion to be effective. Therefore, pigments like hemoglobin are required for efficient transport. Structural adaptations in the respiratory tract ensure that gas exchange is continuous and that the airway remains open under varying pressures. Answer. 1. Diffusion pressure alone is insufficient to deliver oxygen to all parts of a large body quickly enough to meet metabolic demands. 2a. To prevent the air passage from collapsing even when there is little air. 2a. To prevent the air passage from collapsing even when there is little air. B. To provide sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed and carbon dioxide to be released. C. These actions enlarge the chest cavity to create a pressure difference that draws air into the lungs. D. To facilitate the efficient exchange of gases between the air and the blood. Question 30. Define reflex action. With the help of a flowchart, show the path of a reflex action such as sneezing. Concept. Control and coordination reflex arc. Explanation. A reflex action is an involuntary and nearly instantaneous movement in response to a stimulus, bypassing conscious thought to ensure a rapid protective response. Answer. Reflex action is a sudden, spontaneous and immediate action in response to a stimulus from the environment. flowchart, stimulus, receptors, nose, sensory neuron, spinal cord, relay neuron, motor neuron, effector muscles, response, sneezing. Question 31.1. Name the defect of vision represented in the diagram. Give reason for your answer. 2. List two causes of this defect. 3. With the help of a diagram, show how this defect of vision is corrected. Concept, defects of vision and correction. Explanation. When the eye's refractive power is insufficient, the image of nearby objects forms behind the retina rather than on it, resulting in a blurred close-up vision. This is corrected using a converging lens to shift the image forward. Answer 1. Hypermetropia, farsightedness, because the image is formed behind the retina. 2. Causes. 1. The focal length of the eye lens is too long. 2. The eyeball has become too small. 3. The defect is corrected using a convex lens of suitable power. The diagram should show a convex lens converging rays so they focus exactly on the retina. Question 32. Name and state the rule to determine the direction of A. 1. Magnetic field produced around a current carrying a straight conductor. 2. Force experienced by a current carrying straight conductor placed in a magnetic field which is perpendicular to it. Concept, electromagnetic rules. Explanation. Directional rules in electromagnetism allow us to predict the orientation of magnetic fields and the resulting mechanical forces in electrical systems. Answer. Answer 1. Right hand thumb rule. If a current carrying wire is held in the right hand, such as the thumb points in the direction of the current, then the wrapped fingers indicate the direction of the magnetic field lines. 2. Fleming's left hand rule. Stretch the thumb, forefinger, and the middle finger of the left hand perpendicularly. If the forefinger points to the field and the middle finger to the current, the thumb points in the direction of the force. Question 33a. Plants, deer, lion. In the given food chain, what will be the impact of removing all the organisms of the second trophic level on the first and the third trophic level? Will the impact be the same for the organisms of the third trophic level if they were present in a food web? Justify. Or B. A gas X, which is a deadly poison, is found at the higher levels of atmosphere and performs an essential function. Name the gas and write the function performed by this gas in the atmosphere. Which chemical is linked to the decrease in the level of this gas? What measures have been taken by an international organization to check the depletion of the layer containing this gas? Concept, ecosystem dynamics and ozone depletion. Explanation. Food chains represent linear energy transfers, whereas food webs are complex networks. The stability of ecosystem depends on these interconnections. In the atmosphere, chemical pollutants like CFCs disrupt the natural balance of protective gases. Answer A. Removing the second trophic level, deer, will cause the number of plants, first level, to increase and the number of lions, third level, to decrease. In a food web, the impact would not be the same because lions would have alternative prey and would not starve to death, making the system more stable. B. Gas X is ozone, O3. It shields the earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation, UV. CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, are linked to its decrease. The UNEP forged an agreement to freeze CFC production at 1986 levels and promoted the manufacturing of CFC-free refrigerators. Come to section D. This section contains 3 long answers, LA type questions carrying 5 marks each. You can really score here. Answers are expected to be in the range of 80 to 120 words. Question 34A1. Define the homologous series of carbon compounds. 2. Why is the melting and boiling points of C4H8 higher than that of C3H6 or C2H4? 3. Why do we not see any gradation in chemical properties of homologous series compounds? 4. Write the name and structures of 1. Aldehyde and 2. Ketone with molecular form C3H6O. Or B. Write the name and structure of an organic compound X having two carbon atoms in its molecule and its name is suffixed with -OL. 2. What happens when X is heated with excess concentrated sulfuric acid at 443 K? Write chemical equation for the reaction stating conditions for the reaction. Also, state the role played by concentrated sulfuric acid in the reaction. 3. Name and draw the electron dot structure of hydrocarbon produced in the above reaction. Concept: homologous series and chemical properties of ethanol. Explanation: homologous series exhibit a gradation in physical properties like boiling points due to increasing molecular mass, whereas chemical properties remain consistent because they are determined by the same functional group. Ethanol undergoes dehydration when heated with concentrated sulfuric acid, which acts as a catalyst and a dehydrating agent to remove water molecules. Answer A1. Homologous series, a series of carbon compounds in which the same functional group substitutes for hydrogen in a carbon chain, resulting in similar chemical properties. 2. Melting and boiling points increase with molecular mass. 3. Chemical properties are solely determined by the functional group, which remains identical throughout the series. 4. Aldehyde, propanol CH3CH2CHO. Ketone, propanol CH3COCH3. B1. X ethanol CH3CH2OH. 2. Ethene is formed C2H5OH when concentrated H2SO4 443 K gives us H2C is equal to CH2 plus H2O. The acid acts as a hydrating agent. 2. Ethene electron dot structure should show 3. Ethene electron dot structure should show a double bond between two carbon atoms and single bonds with hydrogen. Question 35A. Name 3 techniques, devices used by human females to avoid pregnancy. Mention the side effects caused by each. 2. What will happen if in a human female A. Fertilization takes place, B. An egg is not fertilized, or B1. Draw a diagram showing spore formation in rhizopus and label the reproductive and B. non-reproductive parts. Why does rhizopus not multiply on a dry slice of bread? 2. Name and explain the process by which reproduction takes place in Hydra. Concept: reproductive health and asexual reproduction. Explanation: contraceptive methods interfere with the normal hormonal or physical environment of the reproductive system, which can lead to various biological side effects. If an egg is not fertilized, the prepared uterine lining is shed. If it is fertilized, the zygote implants to begin development. In asexual reproduction, organisms like rhizopus require specific environmental conditions, moisture, nutrients, for germination, while Hydra utilizes regenerative cells for budding. Answers: A1. Oral pills change hormonal balance. Loop, copper T, irritation in the uterus. Surgical method, tubectomy, may cause infections. 2A. Zygote gets implanted in the uterus lining and divides. B. The lining breaks and comes out as blood and mucus. Menstruation. Or B1. Reproductive part, sporangia. Non-reproductive part, hyphae. It does not multiply on dry bread because it lacks the moisture and nutrients necessary for germination. 2. Budding. An outgrowth, bud, develops due to repeated cell division at one site, matures and then detaches as a new individual. Question 36A. Define electric power. Express it in terms of potential difference, V, and resistance, R. 2. An electric oven is designed to work on the mains voltage of 220 volts. This oven consumes 11 units of electrical energy in 5 hours. Calculate A. Power rating of the oven, B. Current drawn by the oven, C. Resistance of the oven when it is red hot. B1. Write the relation between resistance R and electrical resistivity P of a material of a conductor in the shape of cylinder of length L and area of cross section A. Hence, derive the SI unit of electrical resistivity. 2. The resistance of a metal wire of length 3 meters is 60 ohms. If the area of cross section of the wire is 4 by 10 minus 7m square, calculate the electrical resistivity of the wire. 3. State how would electrical resistivity be affected if the wire of part 2 is stretched so that its length is doubled. Justify your answer. Concept: electrical power and resistivity. Explanation: power represents the rate of energy dissipation calculated using the square of voltage over resistance. Resistivity is an intrinsic property of a material. While resistance changes based on dimensions of a conductor, length and area, the resistivity remains constant as long as the material and temperature do not change. Answer: A1. Electrical power. Rate at which electrical energy is dissipated or consumed. P is equal to V square by R. 2A. P is equal to 11 kilowatts per 5 hours, which is equal to 2.2 kilowatts, which is equal to 2200 watts. B. I is equal to P by V, which is equal to 2200 by 220, which is equal to 10 amperes. C. R is equal to V square by P, which is equal to 220 square divided by 2200, which is equal to 22 ohms. B. I. R is equal to PL by A. SI unit is equal to ohm. 2. P is equal to RA by L, which is equal to 60 by 4 by 10 raised to the power of minus 7. All this divided by 3, which is equal to 80 by 10 to the power of minus 7 ohms. 3. Resistivity will not change because it depends on the nature of the material, not on the dimensions of the conductor. Let's move on to section E. This section consists of 3 source-based, case-based units of assessment carrying 4 marks each. Question 37. The metals produced by various reduction processes are not very pure. They contain impurities which must be removed to obtain pure metals. The most widely used method for refining impure metals is electrolytic refining. 1. What is the cathode and anode made of in refining of copper by this process? 2. Name the solution used in the above process and write its formula. 3a. How copper gets refined when electric current is passed in the electrolytic cell? Or 3b. You have 2 breakers, A and B, containing copper and sulfate solution. What would you observe after 2 hours if you dip a strip of zinc in beaker A and a strip of silver in beaker B? Give reasons for your observations in each case. Concept: electrolytic refining and metal reactivity. Explanation: electrolytic refining uses electricity to transfer pure metal from an impure anode to a pure cathode through an electrolyte solution. In displacement reactions, a more reactive metal will displace a less reactive one from its salt solution, resulting in a color change. Answer 1. Cathode, pure copper; anode, impure copper. 3. Acidified copper sulfate solution. Formula CuSO4. 3a. Pure copper from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte and an equivalent amount of pure metal from the electrolyte is deposited on the cathode. At anode, Cu gives Cu square plus 2e minus. At cathode, Cu2 plus 2e gives us Cu. Or 3b. Beaker A, the blue color fades or becomes colorless because zinc is more reactive than copper and displaces it. Beaker B, no change in color occurs because silver is less reactive than copper. Question 38. Mendel worked out rules of heredity by working on garden P using a number of visible contrasting characters. 1. When Mendel crossed pea plants with pure tall and pure short characteristics to produce F1 progeny, which two observations were made by him in F1 plants? Write one difference between dominant and recessive trait. 3a. In a cross with two pairs of contrasting characters, round yellow times wrinkled green, write the ratio of the parental combinations obtained in F2 generation and what conclusions were drawn from this experiment. 3b. Justify the statement. It is possible that a trait is inherited but may not be expressed. Concept, Mendelian inheritance and independent assortment. Explanation. Mendel's first filial generation, F1, typically shows only the dominant phenotype. In the F2 generation of a dihybrid cross, the traits segregate independently, leading to a specific phenotypic ratios. Answer. 1. In the F1 generation, all plants were tall. No short or medium heights plants were observed. 2. A dominant trait is expressed even if only a single copy is present, whereas a recessive trait is only expressed when present in a pair. 3a. The ratio of parental combinations, round yellow to wrinkled green, is 9:1. Conclusion, traits are inherited independently. 3b. When pure yellow seeded plants are crossed with green seeded plants, F1 progeny show only yellow seeds. However, green seeds reappear in the F2 generation, proving the trait was inherited but remained unexpressed in F1. Question 39. Study the data given below, showing the focal length of three concave mirrors A, B, and C, and the respective distances of object placed in front of the mirrors. Case, mirror, focal length, object distance. Case 1, mirror A, focal length 20 centimeters, object distance 45. Case 2, B, focal length 15 centimeters, object distance 30. Case 3, mirror C, focal length 30, object distance 20 centimeters. 1. In which of the above cases the mirror will form a diminished image of the object? Justify your answer. 2. List two properties of the image formed in case 2. 3a. What is the nature and size of the image formed by mirror C? Draw ray diagram to justify your answer. 3b. An object is placed at a distance of 18 centimeters from the pole of a concave mirror of focal length 12 centimeters. Find the position of the image formed in this case. Concept, reflection by concave mirrors. Explanation. The size and nature of an image formed by a concave mirror depend on the object's position relative to the focal length f and the center of curvature c is equal to 2f. Diminished images occur when the object is beyond c, while virtual images occur when the object is within the focal length. Now for our answers. Mirror A, because the object distance 45 centimeters is beyond the center of the curvature 2f is equal to 40 centimeters of the mirror. 2. The image is real, inverted and of the same size as the object since u is equal to 2f. 3a. Nature, virtual and erect. Size, magnified. The student should draw a diagram showing rays from an object between f and p diverging and appearing to meet behind the mirror. 3b. Using the mirror formula, 1 by v plus 1 by u, which is equal to 1 by f, 1 by v, which is equal to 1 by minus 12, minus 1 by 18, which is equal to minus 3 plus 2 by 36, which is equal to minus 1 by 36. The image is formed 36 centimeters in front of the mirror. And with that, we come to an end of Science 2024 Solved paper with me, Kunal Kohli. Don't forget to follow us for many more papers for different years.